All right, so first I want to start by saying Kala Lal, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rakah Kodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of James Cretton Stone, and salutation to you Akim out there, pushing the truth in sincerity, the hopeful elect. Again, Shalom. This is the brother Kanan from James, Jamaica, with a quick lesson. And today I want to basically, do a little discussion in this lesson. Um, uh, the topic is basically, are we in a pandemic? And if yes, is this a severe pandemic? All right. And the reason for that is because I think there's a misunderstanding out there of this whole pandemic idea. So once a person hear a pandemic, they think it's something detrimental or something disastrous that drastic measures um, needs there's need for drastic measures, and that's not really the case or the situation with a pandemic. I'm going to get into that right now. The second part of it is the severity, the severeness of the pandemic. Now, why I say why we may okay while we may not be able to pinpoint scientifically are proven. Bear in mind, I am no doctor. I never trained to be a doctor, but yes, we have a brain and we can think and we can understand information, right? And we ought to do that as individuals to basically uh, know what's taking place. It doesn't make sense to be here being naive and stupid and not questioning things for yourself. So if you're to question yourself and say, "Oh, are we in a pandemic? What are the grounds are you using to determine if we're in a pandemic or not? Or is it a pandemic? All right? Is there a big seed going around, spreading to the entire earth?" Again, the news come out saying that, but if you're to listen to each news report, or to, well, not each but a lot of news report, you'd realize that there is no real ground of where this is coming from. If it's basically planned by, because there are some people are saying China, some people are saying, oh, this is a disease pushed by the US, which would mean that it is a planned situation. And yes, the Bible states in the last days that we're going to have pestilence, which means disease. All right, so we're going to have outbreaks, right? Outbreaks, right? But yeah, so we're just going to get into the whole meaning of the word pandemic and just get into some scriptures, not a lot, but just to have a reason, right? So, what is a pandemic? All right, so many persons already know the answer to this. Some may have a misunderstanding of what a pandemic is, but pandemic is basically two words joined together: pan and demic. The word pan, which I'm going to show you here, it means all. So let me get it. Sorry. All right, so pan, it says all of everything. It says all of everything are involving all members of a group, right? So it basically means all. And the word demic basically is referring to of or pertaining to a distinct population of people. So pandemic is basically prevalent. It says prevalent over a whole country or the world. So it basically means all people of all group basically. Alright? And it says here an outbreak of a pandemic disease. So it dealing with an outbreak. So why am I mentioning this when a lot of person may know this? Again, some people misunderstand that pandemic does have nothing to do with the severity or the seriousness of a disease. Alright? Because if a disease is outbreaking or spreading across the world, but the death rate, the death ratio is really low, it's still a pandemic, but it is not something to take extreme measures. And this is the second part of the question. So if we were to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, yes, we are in a pandemic, is this a severe pandemic? The answer would be no, based on what is being reported, because one, the death rate is very minimal. All right, and again, there are reports out there of false positive. You have goat testing for COVID for the big C. You have fruits testing for the big C, and the owner of the test that they're using to do this big C test says it's not a valid test, basically, right? So sensationalizing the situation and saying, oh, this amount of persons have the big C is basically sensationalizing again the thing. So you people can panic and they can put extreme measures to you, such as a lockdown, such as you need to get vaccinated, such as you're going in poverty, which means you're not going to need to be depending on the government for supplies, because now you don't have any job because you cannot go out, and persons that are hustling are used to make a living by going out in a certain sense are now forced to be staying at home and trying to find handout, basically, stimulus package, or basically just package overall, which means they're not able to fend for themselves, which is putting you people on the what's the term, on a siege. Basically, you're under a siege at this time. All right, so we're gonna get to that, and then we're gonna preach some scriptures. So I don't want to make this really long, just a little reasoning. So this is what the WHO, World Health Organization, had to say. It says, Dushi argues conjointly that the definition of a pandemic influenza in 2009 was elusive, but does not refer to the classical epidemiological definition of a pandemic. A pandemic is defined as an epidemic occurring worldwide or over a very wide area, crossing international boundaries and usually affecting a large number of people. Right? The classical definition includes nothing about population immunity, virology, or disease severity. So it mentions nothing about the disease severity. Right? Now, I'm not going to read everything here. All right, let me get this right here. Okay. All right, because I want to show you that these so-called these pandemics that were worldwide, basically, they had a lower death rate. You know what I mean? Trying to find that. I just don't want to read everything. Okay, here we go. So it says severity, as estimated by the case. Let me try to draw it up to the top so you people can see what I'm talking about here. Right. So it says severity, and as estimated by the case fatality ratio, probably range from 0.01 to 0.03. These values are very similar to those normally seen in the cases of a seasonal influenza. Now, stick a pin. I know it's referring to influenza, but look, even though that was determined as a pandemic, the fatality rate or ratio was very low, 0.01. But they use this, sensationalize it to make people panic, so they can put you under vaccine, which is what getting what Bill Gates want you to get. You know what I mean? Or the same thing goes for even the big C. No, the death rate is very minimal. It's minimal, but it's being pushed as an extreme situation where people are now, what is really taking place? You're not seeing a lot of people losing their lives for this. Again, remember their so-called false testing. Again, if you're healthy, there's no need for you to be running behind your government, not working, not having a job, not be able to provide for your family, causing poverty, causing hunger, and basically eventually going to lead to malnutrition, which is going to lead to death, because if you're not nourished, then you will be sick eventually, and if you're taking the vaccine, you are going to weaken your body because the vaccine only weakens you. All right, the Most High gave you a strong body, and if you check, since vaccination started, people start living less. You're dying at an earlier age because you know your body is not strong like your great grandparents and your great grandparents. They'll live much longer than you with no vaccine. So why today we have to be taking these things? It's a plan and a plot to kill you people, especially you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Now I've been talking a lot, so let me just read some scriptures. All right. This is Micah 2 and verse 1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand." Right? So, woe unto the so called white man because you are responsible for this. Right? Woe unto you enemies out there, you Confederate people, because you are basically targeting the Israelites, the true biblical sons and daughters of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Alright? And you are basically creating, you're sitting on your bed creating ways and means to put us in more poverty, in more disease, in more basically a weaker state. That's what your plan is. Alright? And people are falling for this, not thinking. And our governments, persons that's supposed to be representing us, are being puppets and drawing the country into this. And they are signing on papers not for us to be able to sue or hold these people accountable if anything goes wrong with what they are trying to put our lives in, such as the vaccine. So just think about that, right? Let's continue, right? So I'm gonna read some more. I'm gonna show you some things also. No, I'm not gonna read any more than that. So just to question yourself, are people dying the way that they're saying? Are what the numbers are? The numbers are very low, and it's a lot of persons that are sickly and are already dying. Persons in their 80s, are person with underlying um, basically body or something like that, right? So look at the, I'm going to show you something here. Look at the death toll. All right, this is basically for Jamaica, and I'm pretty sure if you do the, because the statistics are out there, you can just look things up, reason with yourself, look things up, prove things for yourself. Bible says prove all things. Don't just take things as it is said to you. All right, so it says Jamaica death rate, right? um, let's just go from, we're going from 2019 to 2020, right? In 2019, the death rate was 7.58 with a growth rate of 0.340. In 2020, which is supposed to be the year of the pandemic, the death rate is 7.613. All right. So, where is this great increase? And you had years before this. I'm not able to pull it up here and show you, but you can do the research. You had years that we were not in a pandemic, but had much more death, much more. The death rate was much higher. All right. So, is this anything to be worrying about? Is this anything that for us to be put in the country under lockdown for? If the country was not under a lockdown, would it make anything different? Would there be a difference? Hell no, right? You're under a lockdown to take away your rights and to put you in more poverty and to basically eventually give you an RFID chip, because after the vaccine, that's what's coming next. To set up a system, a digital system. Now you're hearing talks of being going digital. All these talks are being made, right? But again, you have to be thinking, you have to be reasoning with yourself to see if this makes any sense. All right, and there are more things out there. If you just do the research, you will find. But I'm just trying to show you that, look, don't miss the severity or the seriousness of a pandemic. Just to say, oh, it's a pandemic, so it's serious. No, a pandemic doesn't mean something is serious. It just means that there are outbreaks in different countries, or worldwide. That's all it means, right? It doesn't mean that, oh, millions of people are dying, because of a situation, and oh, this is something new and it's increasing, something. No, it's not, right? And this is Psalm 64 and verse 2. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, which is Edom, the so-called white man, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him, and fear not. Right? So they're shooting at us now. They don't fear. They don't fear if you people realize what is taking place and decide to take action, because at the end of the day, we're gonna kill. We're gonna approach your leaders, because these people are in what? Secret. They are doing these things in secret. They're not seeing their faces, because when you look on the TV, who are you seeing? You're seeing Andrew Wilness. You're seeing the opposition leaders. You're seeing Trump. You're seeing Biden. You're seeing people that are puppets for the shadow government. All right, these are people under, um, having secret counsel and putting out things out there to destroy you. It says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him, and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. Yes, somebody that's an evil man. That's what you Negroes and Latinos are saying. No, people cannot be so wicked, and you fail to believe because you disbelieve that people can be so wicked. Right? They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? And that's your Illuminati for you. Right? They search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. But God shall shoot at them with an arrow. He says, suddenly shall they be wounded, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. So their own tongue I come up against them, because them are telling the death rate. And even though them are trying to increase it, it's still not, even though them fear the death rate, it's still not something to worry about. It's still normal days. The only thing that is not normal is that you don't have the freedom to go out on the road like you used to have. Or you the freedom to just go to work like you used to have. Right? You're basically, preventing your body from getting certain amount of, nutrients, sunlight, vitamin D, and these things that you should be getting because of these stupid lockdowns. All right, which is basically destroying you anyway. All right, so again, personally, I think this is a plan, right? This is plan. This is a pandemic, not a. It's a pandemic in a planned sense, right? Because you're targeted, and I think the rate of it is sensationalized, and the severityness of it is not like they are putting. There's no need for these measures that are being taken place. It is stupid. It makes no sense, right? Like some people said, Corona only walk, the COVID, Big C only walk at night, because they are basically curfews hours for a certain time period, but you're free to go about, daily activities. And a lot of people weren't even following protocols, and they're not sick. Yeah, you know what I mean? Things are not going AWire because of that. Now they are making more drastic, measures in Jamaica, and limiting, the gathering, and basically they are putting out fines out there to strengthen the claws of the police force. So wake up, right? Do some research for yourself, and wake up. That's naturally wake up. You know what I mean? So we don't want to make the video too long, already long. That was a simple reasoning. So I hope someone was edified. Hope you were able to do some research and prove these things for yourself. Alright, with that I want to say Kala Lal, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Again, double honors to the apostles, and the of James Stone, and to you walk him out there. Shalom.